Yeah, I don't know, I had pretty strong ideas about Jack, of what he would be, you know, the ingredients that would go into Jack. It was a great opportunity to invent a different kind of pirate, you know, a pirate you haven't seen before.
Son, I'm Captain Jack Sparrow. Savvy?
Jack Sparrow kind of came to life as I was reading the screenplay. You know, I was reading the script in the sauna. The heat was very important for me. You know, the idea of, yeah, sweltering heat, and the heat that we put into our own brain just from obsessing or thinking, you know, about one thing.
What's the nature of this venture of yours?
I'm going after the Black Pearl. I know where it's going to be, and I'm going to take you.
I think to some degree he's got perpetual sea legs, you know, just from being on the water too much. So land becomes really odd and uncomfortable.
Me? You're supposed to be dead.
Am I not?
Jack Sparrow is a real rogue. He's a fun-loving, hard-living individual who has actually morals. I mean, he knows right from wrong, even though he doesn't quite adhere to it all the time.
It was she.
What? I may have deserved that.
Johnny could be a straight-up leading man if he wanted to, and he just doesn't have that desire. I mean, he's much more into the craft, and he's much more into exploring different, you know, avenues for his acting. And this is, you know, I mean, come on, it's Captain Jack Sparrow. It's the perfect opportunity to go someplace.
This is a day that you will always remember as the day that you...
You know, he'd always kind of talked about sort of the Keith Richards aspect of this character.
One of my great heroes, and a guy who I think is maybe the most together human being I've ever seen or met, is Keith Richards.
I swear you look just like him.
So you take something as solid as that, and you combine it with, say, like Pepe Le Pew, you know, the cartoon character.
But if we're gonna do the thing that puts that scene in jeopardy,
I felt very strongly that he would, yeah, resemble kind of, yeah, modern day Rastafarian, you know, sort of dreads. Once again, Keith Richards, you see the guy and he's got these sort of little trinkets just sewn into his hair, you know, hanging. That was one of the inspirations for just all the stuff, you know. I like the idea that each one of these little pieces is a very vivid and extremely important memory for Jack.
It was extraordinary to watch Johnny Depp create that character because he played him like a complete drunken fool. Not that he was drunk, but every time I looked at him on set, I always thought he'd had about 8 vodkas or something, as he could barely get his words out. And would just casually throw things off, and it was such a cool performance and very masterfully done.
I remember the first day that I was in the full Captain Jack makeup and the wardrobe. You know, I was just sort of seeing the character for the first time. And then Gore came in the room.
It was a kind of ear-to-ear grin, and, you know, he looked at me like, "Are you cool with this?" And I was just, you know, ecstatic.
And he said, "That's it, yeah." You know, he got it immediately. And he knew where I was trying to go with the character. And he got the humor.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
Jack is probably the pirate that everyone wants to be. He's freewheeling. He's absolutely his own man. He's like Johnny. He's hilarious and lucky, and just seems to manage to fall from one near disaster to another and manage to come out relatively unscratched because he's also bright.
This dock is off limits to civilians.
I'm terribly sorry, I didn't know. If I see one, I shall inform you immediately. What it felt like to me was a guy who was miraculously able to run between the raindrops.
impersonating an officer of the Spanish Royal Navy, impersonating a cleric of the Church of England.
No matter how bad things got, there was always this sort of bizarre optimism, you know, and, yeah, maybe denial. And I thought there was something very beautiful and poignant about the idea of his objective. I mean, all he wants is to get his ship back.
But what a ship is, what the Black Pearl really is freedom.
He was a fun character. It's really been a fun character. Bring him to life is my favorite part. Just the fact that I got to play the guy. I actually think my favorite part, and maybe the most revealing and telling part of Jack Sparrow, when he's on the island with Elizabeth and she's burnt all the rum.
No! Not good! Stop! Not good!
Jack Sparrow, who's, yeah, perversely a master of words and is, you know, fairly eloquent.
Why is the rum gone?
He's reduced to no, not good, stop, not good. Oh, that's probably the most satisfying moment for me. Felt the most, yeah, I think it's the most revealing for the character.
That signal is over 1,000 feet high. The entire Royal Navy is out looking for me. Do you really think that there is even the slightest chance that they won't see it?
But why is the rum gone?
Every movie you sort of meander into is a part of your education, you know, and it was trying at times, but we got through it, you know, as gracefully as possible and as dignified as possible. I think ultimately we did well, you know.
One can only hope. Take what you can. Give nothing back.